Hi, Filter here. Just sitting here in my robe and drinking some fruit juice with vodka. But I'd like to talk about the episode of the Orville, Happy Refrain. This was a good episode. And dare I say, it kind of had a little bit of everything. It had sci-fi, it had romantic comedy. It was all there, all bundled into one one thing. We actually get to see Mark Jackson out of makeup, dare I say, out of the Isaac persona. And as I wanted to, as I mentioned in the previous video, we kind of needed a Isaac centric sort of episode where and it is very interesting how they go about this. On a side note, the beginning of it where you have Finn talking to Tala and Isaac walks in and he's holding a banana. Don't be surprised if SJWs try to make a big deal out of the banana thing, a banana given to a black woman. I'm just saying. If nobody says anything, then I'm like, okay. But I get the funny feeling um, Seth McFarlane was trolling. I'm just saying. Now back to the show. This episode I thought was just it was good. You didn't need a B plot of the ship in danger or something like that. What you just needed was again the day in the life of what happens on the ship. Again, I've made this comparison to MASH, where not everything had to deal with the trauma and everything. Sometimes it just dealt with the day in the life of the camp without injured coming in and stuff like that. Just normalcy, where would be considered normalcy. Now, one of the side parts is parts of the story is Bortus getting a mustache and Clyden not being terribly happy with it. I thought, okay, well, I mean, I got myself a beard myself, and my girlfriend doesn't say anything when we engage in this sexual event. However, back to the main portion of the story. The fact that Dr. Finn, is willing to engage. It's just kind of weird, You work with somebody under close circumstances, and you might develop feelings, and then in most cases, you kind of go, oh, I wouldn't mind, but then you go, nah, because it might complicate things, and you don't want to risk too much, especially in their work conditions. It's not like you run into each other every once in a while and stuff like that, but under work conditions, that's a whole different ball game. Where you're so. Let's see. They have. The orchestra. I gotta check who the conductor was because he looked familiar. But I do like the fact that they were having things like symphonies and things are like, dare I say, almost Earth normal, where you have traveling things like a symphony going from point A to point B to to let the morale of the troops. You're out there in deep space missions. I remember how the Starfleet Battles manual puts it. Life on a ship could best be described as 6 months boredom, 6 minutes stark screaming terror. That's just one of the things that they say. And you figure, you got these guys out there doing months of exploration, charting, and, it gets, I guess, mundane, and you might want that little something to break the monotony. Now, this episode was written and directed by Seth MacFarlane. And I gotta say, the man is a brilliant writer and a brilliant director. And from what I understand, he's a bit of a romantic, a hopeless romantic. Even when you watch Family Guy and American Dad, there are episodes where he kind of lets you know that relationships are important. Those romantic relationships are important to him. And, at one point, as they go on this date, and now Isaac unfortunately sees it as just data to be processed and sent back home. And I get the funny feeling this is going to come back sometime later. And I'm not saying, I don't know if this is official. Actually, I'm just coming out of this whole out of my ass. But I get the funny feeling that Isaac is going to be made a little bit more human looking. And he's going to develop a little bit more of a personality of a human personality or a biological personality. That's what I get. There's just so much in this episode that I find just it was just very, very well written, well put together. Let's see. The fact that there's bowling night on one of the holodecks. Oh, and the simulator, as they put it, where Claire and Isaac go to the simulator to do this date. And the first date is rough. It's like just like any other first date. You're not sure what to do, what to say. Then the second date, he just kind of gets it, I wouldn't say right, but it's far more appealing to the point where we wind up with some bow chicka wow wow with him and Claire, which I'm trying to figure out. Of course, Ed is kind of the last one to know about this because, well, let's face facts, his concern is with the ship, not people's romantic deal here. Oh, and Norm Macdonald, instead of being a computer-generated blob, shows up to, I guess, hit on Claire. It doesn't work, but... And then as Isaac tries to break off the relationship because he figures he knows everything he needs to know, he gets... he goes to Lamar, and Lamar tells him basically act like a jerk. And which he does, where he's wearing tighty whities, a wife beater, and holding a bottle of something, I guess to represent beer, and make me dinner and stuff like that. And when he's actually kicked out, you can see at one point he kind of is almost semi-hesitant, like there's something wrong, but he keeps going. Unlike in theory with Data, where Data just pretty much said, I would delete the appropriate program, and with no lasting effects. We see that this has lasting effects with Isaac when he realizes he makes mistakes because she was important to his programming. Some of you could come up with your own interpretation of that, but I thought that was a nice thing to do there. One of the things during the date is she describes rain, which kind of comes back to in several parts of the show. First, it's kind of mentioned when Singing in the Rain is being played, and then eventually she talks about how she loves it when it rained. Then he calls her up, and this episode is just really, really good. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. And one other thing, I'm waiting for the real merchandise to come out. All I see is the captain's jacket, like hoodie, and that's it. I want to see the model. I want to see the model ship that I can put together. I want action figures. Okay? I want action figures. I want the Micro Machine miniature versions of the ships. Come on. Let's get some merchandise. Seth McFarlane. Do it. Alright. Rate this video if you like. Hit the notification bell. Please leave a comment below. And until then, I'm Filter, and y'all take care now.